Mahalo for watching this brief introduction to how we implement the discipline section of our student and parent handbook. A commitment to appropriate conduct. Please read this brief but important section of our parent and student handbook. The commitment to appropriate conduct at Kamehameha schools is intended to help students control both their emotions and their behaviors, as well as to learn what is and what is not acceptable behavior. It helps us to create a safe and healthy environment so that students can live and learn productively and effectively. So, what does our student infraction data look like? Back in 2011, we had 384 total infractions committed by 178 students. We decided that year to start an incentive program. The following year, our infractions dropped to 313 and the number of students dropped to 148. We were looking forward to another year of declines, but in 2013, we almost topped 1,000 infractions. The 978 infractions by 258 students occurred in the year that we started our laptop program. The proper use and care of our student laptops was something that we really had to get adjusted to. We were happy to see reductions in the following year, but it wasn't until 2015 when we implemented keystroke history checks that we really saw a drop in infractions. Students have really learned how to properly use and care for their laptops, and we've seen multiple years of declines. So far this year, we're really happy with where we're at, but we're really hoping to get to a level of just under 500 infractions, which is the national average for a school of our size. Now let's take a look at how infractions are classified in the Kamehameha school system. Wait a minute. Before we look at how infractions are classified, that data from 2017, 2018 is like over 2 years old already. Let's see how we finished up that 2017, 2018 school year, what last year was like, and how we're doing so far this year. Let's take a look at some current data. For 2017-2018, we finished up the school year with 442 total infractions by 186 students. For the 2018-2019 school year, we continued the downward trend and finished up the year with 408 infractions by 169 students. And here in 2019-2020, although we've been kind of cut short because of the COVID-19 situation, even in distance learning, we still get some infractions. We get the academic dishonesty, the cheating, the plagiarism. We have some online disrespect, inappropriate use of computers. We also have some cracked screens from some carelessness, as well as some spilled liquids onto the keyboard. So other than that, I'm hoping that the students can try their best to limit their infractions and we can continue the downward trend. Now back to how we classify infractions at Kamehameha schools on the level system from 1 through 5. Level 1 infractions are the most common. We see basic rules not being followed, inappropriate language, dress code violations, and misuse of cell phones. Level 1 infractions usually result in a warning, timeout, detention, or some kind of written report to parents. When students continue to commit level 1 infractions, it's often bumped up to a level 2. Level 2 infractions are a little bit more serious and include the following: Our most common Level 2 infractions include disruptions and disrespect towards others. As with Level 1 infractions, Level 2 infractions are usually handled at the teacher level and may include just a simple investigation. When a student's infraction results in detention, he or she can complete this time before school, during morning recess, at lunch, during lunch recess, or even after school if prior arrangements are made. A student's detention form will look like this. There's a section on the top for students and parents. There's a place where the teacher or staff member will check off the infraction that was committed. There's a part where there's a short description of the occurrence, and only after parents have signed the form are students able to start their time. We usually hold a conference after all time has been verified, and in this conference we go over the infraction itself and talk about any of the lessons that have been learned. Level 3 infractions on our 5-level system are getting much more serious. Examples are shown below. In addition to unmodified Level 2 behaviors, Level 3 infractions can pose a direct threat to others, can discredit or defame others, or can involve something such as the use and possession of cigarettes or e-cigarettes. Naturally, the consequences for Level 3s are much more serious, and a parent conference is often held to discuss the students' actions as well as the consequences. A big change that went into effect this school year across all 3 campuses involves the use of e-cigarettes. Because of the dangers involved with e-cigarettes, e-cigarette use and possession has now been moved from a classification of Level 3 up to a Level 4. Level 4 infractions are unmodified Level 3s or are standalone Level 4 infractions that can result in some kind of violence to self or others, or can seriously impact the school environment. Our most serious infractions are considered Level 5. Level 5 infractions will be reported to appropriate government authorities, including but not limited to Child Welfare Services or the police. Only disciplinary decisions by the principal that results in the release of a student may be appealed to the head of school. Once the decision to release a student has been communicated to the family has 10 working days to make an appeal to the head of school. The head of school's final decision is not reviewable. Any student who admits to a vice principal or counselor that they experiment or regularly abuse alcohol or drugs before the student has been interviewed in some kind of investigation will be given an opportunity to remain at Kamehameha schools without being released. This offer will be honored provided that the student fulfills all of the conditions established by Kamehameha schools, including completion of any treatment or counseling program at the family's expense in order to remain at school. This kind of asylum or sanctuary will be offered only once. Students should also be aware of their out-of-school and off-campus behavior. Behaviors that are disruptive to the school setting, to the educational process, interferes with the work of the school, is contrary to the mission of the school, impinges on the rights of others, or has some kind of direct effect on the general welfare of the school will be investigated. The Hi'ikua Helpline is a confidential helpline that provides students with an alternative way to report any concerns or to ask questions that affect the health, safety, or well-being of others. Here is how a student can access the Hi'ikua helpline. Thank you once again for tuning in to the screencast. We ask that you go back and review any portions that were covered too quickly. You can always give us a call, or please, as always, check the online handbook for more details related to any of the different topics that were covered. Take care, and thank you for being partners with us in helping to support your student.